What is going on, you guys? My name is Austin Marks, and I'm the host of the Top Fitness Podcast, everything faith and fitness based. Today, we have Katie Foote, who is a powerlifter. She's going to be sharing her testimony and how powerlifting has affected her faith. Welcome to today's episode.
So if you just want to start off by introducing yourself.
I'm Katie. I am from Athens, Georgia. I'm 26 years old, and I am a health and PE coach as well as a weight training and a body sculpting coach. I will say I am a USAPL powerlifter. That is what I do. That is my priority in my sport. But recently, if you've been following me or you have anything to do with my page, you may have noticed that I have been dabbling in other sports. Just getting really curious on the endurance side of things. I would not go as far as to call myself a hybrid athlete, but I have very much enjoyed some side quests. So I'll say that I've been having a lot of side quests in addition to powerlifting. But yeah, that's pretty much who I am as a person. Like I said, that's my schedule is I wake up, I train, I teach, I work, and then I train again. And so just an athlete and somebody who loves fitness. So
Were you an athlete in high school? Did you play any sports?
yeah, I was actually an athlete from the time I was 6 years old when I started. We've been talking about my family. I grew up as an athlete. They had been talking about a college scholarship since I was six. So since I came out the womb, that has kind of been the precedence and what we had been attaining after. I've been an athlete my whole life. I started super young, kindergarten. I was on t-ball, and then I played softball all the way through college. I went to the University of West Georgia, and I played all 4 years there as well on
Wow.
scholarship. That's kind of where my foundation started. Just always having that mentality and that athlete drive, I think, is kind of what pushed me into the powerlifting world. Because when you lose that identity and you stop playing in college, it's kind of like, what now? And so I made this
Exactly.
happen and fell in love with the gym for multiple reasons. Yeah, go dogs! I saw somebody comment. That's absolutely right. Big NBA fan, and I needed something. And so just like my background and things that I've struggled with and dealt with from pretty much my whole life, like fitness has always been a way to quiet down my mind. And I think I knew that when I graduated college, I was going to need something. And so I very, very blessed. And through the people that the Lord has put into my life, got introduced to lifting and powerlifting and back and see like his handprint everywhere and why I am where I am. And so long story short, long story long, I should say, to answer your question, yes, I've always been an athlete. I've never not been an athlete.
I love it. I love it. So what do you think drew you towards powerlifting rather than like CrossFit or the endurance thing to start with?
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is crazy. All right, so this was truly a God thing. I so I'll tell you, I'll get really vulnerable here. In college, really since middle school, I have struggled on and off with like a lot of mental health things, been through some really rocky things. So sports was always the way that I quieted my brain in that sense, and like it gave me something to lean on. I feel like that the Lord provided me with an outlet in fitness, and it was really something that helped me connect with him as well as quiet down a lot of the thoughts that I was having. And so in college, I knew when I was going to be done being an athlete, being a softball player, I was like, I'm going to need something. And so I always thought it was going to be CrossFit, um, which is funny because like growing up, like I dreamed about it. I was like, I'm going to do endurance. I like to run. I'm going to do CrossFit. Over COVID, is when I got into running because we didn't have gyms. We couldn't go into the gyms. And so I ran a whole bunch. Um, and I, during college, met some of my teammates who were really big into just weightlifting. And I got influenced, like, hey, why don't you try the gym? Why don't you try lifting weight? And so I gave it a shot. And actually, my junior year of college, I think I fell in love with weightlifting more than I was in love with my own sport, which is crazy because I never expected that. Like I was always like, yeah, it's gonna be CrossFit. Like I want to be these CrossFit athlete, like all of these super cool, strong, powerful women. Like yeah, that's awesome. And so I kind of ran with it for a little bit. I did get, I will say, sucked into a lot of the negative like body image world, like weightlifting culture that a lot of people deal with on, especially is present now on this side of social media. Got sucked into that, and the reason that I started weightlifting was not the best. And so I got absorbed into that. I was still just kind of going to the gym for like image reasons, mental health reasons, like all of the things that kind of come with like somebody just starting out in the gym trying to figure out their why. And I knew that I loved lifting heavy and being strong, but I didn't really know where to go with it. I didn't really know what powerlifting was. And so I moved home. I graduated from college, still just kind of like a newbie in the weightlifting world. I moved home and I made some friends at the gym that I had signed up for because another friend was going. So like there's all of this connection of I reconnected with someone and decided I wanted to train with her for a little bit. So grateful to know her. And signed up for this gym. And I was like, this is a great gym. Like we can train together. So we lifted together a couple times a week. I made some amazing friends because of that gym. And one of the guys that I met there was still one of my absolute best friends of all time. He came up to talk to me, and the first thing that he said to me was like, "Hey, do you power lift?" And I was like, "No, what's that? Like, what's powerlifting?" And it was just the most insane conversation because he was like, "Well, I've been on the national team. Like, I power lift." He's like, "I think
Oh
you'd be great
wow.
at it. Like, you look like a power lifter." And I was like, "Okay, like this guy's like Team USA, like the nicest guys ever. Like, obviously knows what he's talking about." So connected with him, became really good friends with him. And he totally influenced me and pushed me into the powerlifting world, like had me sign up for my first competition. He helped me train for it, like went and he handled my meet. And that was the first time that I ever powerlifted. It was in 2023, but it was because I met him and he decided to come up and have a conversation with me just like out of nowhere, and asked if I powerlifted and then introduced me to it. And so that was definitely the hand of God being like, hey, this is
Definitely.
something that you need to do. Like, let me introduce you to all of these people and all of these influences. And just, had someone who is still one of my best friends introduce me to the sport. And it really, really has just taken off from there. Like, the Lord has been so, so faithful on this journey. And like all of his promises, biblically, like I have seen all of them come to fruition, or a lot of them come to fruition through this journey. And that's kind of how I got started with it. And then the ball, once it was rolling, like it is morphed into what it is. And so once I fell in love with that, I think it did pull me away from endurance sports for a while. Because when I really wanted to get strong and get good at it, like I had stopped running, I had stopped doing anything else because that was my focus for a little bit. And it wasn't just until recently that I think the Lord has kind of spoken into my life, like, hey, we need to go into a little bit different direction for what we're doing right now, or at least add to it. But that's kind of how I got started with it, if that makes sense.
That's great. I also love how this dude came into your life and he basically helped you walk through the whole process.
The whole thing.
I know many people that want to start, but they have just they have no idea where to go or what to do. And I try to send people to people I know because I've never done a
Yeah,
powerlifting meet. I think I've sent one or two
absolutely.
people to you. But I think that reaching out to people and just helping or asking for help, because there's so many people that are in this sport that absolutely want to help people because like you said,
Yeah.
this guy was just so open. He walked you through the whole process, and that was just like a God thing of where you were and where you are now.
so was. And like you said, like sending people to resources who want to start. Like if you are watching this or you go back and watch this in the future, like please know that I'm always a resource. Like DM me anytime. I am happy to help and walk other people through the process, because it's daunting. Like it is a lot, because I mean, you've got to know the rules, the technicalities of it. Like you have to get the gear, the subscription to memberships. Like I said, I go through USAPL. They've been amazing for me. Like, but it's a whole process and things that you need to know to be able to set up. Did I lose you? I feel like you
Nope,
keep
nope, you're good. You're
Oh,
good.
okay, I was about to say you're just loading on my screen. I feel like I lost you, but like it is a whole process to sign up for it, and it's a lot. And so I know how overwhelming that it can be, and like I'd love to be a resource for other people to help them the way that one of my best friends now just came up and decided that I was going to do for me, and I was like, okay, God, I guess this is where we're going. So.
Now, did you watch a meet or two before you actually did one yourself?
No, I didn't. And that's the most insane part, is like once I met him, it was like, all right, let's go. And like I didn't even have time to watch another meet. Like when I showed up for my first powerlifting meet, like I had never seen, I had never experienced. Like he taught me all the rules like in a week. And the best part about the whole thing was like the one that he had me sign up for, it ended up being like the state championships, like the biggest meet in the state for my first meet. And I was like, okay, I guess if we're gonna go for it, we're gonna go for it.
Right,
And
right.
so it was a big experience. And but like I said, like having somebody there with me to just take me through the whole thing and support me through that, like it was the most God thing I have ever, like one of the most God things I've ever experienced, because I would not be where I am today, like doing the things that I do today, if I had not met him, because I wanted to train with one of my other friends, because I and sign up at her gym. If we had not like reconnected, I had not met the people that I met in college. So it's like all of these things that go all the way back, just like the Lord's handprint in my life. Like it feels chaotic in the moment, but I can look back and be like, hey Katie, like I moved you here and then here and then here, and now it all makes sense. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
it was
Um,
pretty awesome.
so were you always a Christian? Sorry,
I
jumping subjects here a little bit.
No, 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 you're good. That's a great question. I will say I was raised in a household of faith. Yes. Um, Growing up, my religion was a little bit rocky. I didn't always have the relationship with the Lord that I have now. I like I said, I grew up. I was saved at a very, very young age. My my mom and her side, as well as my father, like my family is pretty religious, but I have, since I was 13, 14 years old, I started struggling with a lot of mental health issues, and just things that I've gone through. The first time I remember it happening was in the seventh grade. I know I got resaved when I was 13 years old. I went to a church camp conference, and I got resaved there. And that's when it kind of all started, because I know something that not enough people talk about is like spiritual warfare, and the things that happen once you start to get close with the Lord. Like it gets really vulnerable and the devil starts to come after you, right? And so I know when I was 13, 14 years old and I started struggling with that, my faith, it didn't necessarily go downhill, but I started to distance myself, and I was more focused on what I was struggling with than what the Lord could do for me. And that was just me, like not being spiritually mature enough to understand like what was going on with all of the struggles that I was having. And so I didn't necessarily walk away from it for a while, but I was making some very questionable choices, and just dealing with a lot. And so I didn't necessarily feel the presence of God in my life for a time span of several years. It wasn't actually until this past year that the Lord got a hold of me, and he was like, all right, like, you're ready. Like, let's create this relationship. And I really came to Jesus, had a come to Jesus moment, and started reading my Bible and started, diving into it and trying to make that connection, because I was like, I am so lost. I was like, please just help me. Like, and he did. And, ever since this past year, like, he really made his presence evident in my life. And it took me really surrendering all of the things that I was struggling with to be able to build my faith up to where it is now and realize like God has always had me. Like even through all of these struggles, like he has always had my back and has been working in my life even when I didn't see it, even when I didn't want him to. And no, so to answer your question, I have not always had the relationship that I have now. I would always identify as a Christian for sure, but I, the way that the relationship that I have with God now and the influence that he has in my life has not always been there because it's been so overshadowed by struggle. And, we all go through some rocky things as human beings, but I have seen some really, really dark places. And I have also seen the Lord walk me through some really, really dark places. And I am so grateful for that because of those dark experiences, like I now have a testimony that is stronger than it's ever been and something that I can share with and influence with other people. So like I said, long story long, to answer that question, like, yes, I have always identified as a Christian. No, I have not always experienced the influence of God the way that I do now, and I'm grateful for that period of time.
I definitely agree with you, and I feel like my story is kind of similar.
Yeah.
There was also a great question on here. Are you able to see that?
Yeah, so it says, don't know if any questions are being taken. Of course, always ask away if you have questions. But wondering how powerlifting has directly influenced your faith journey and vice versa, if at all. Absolutely. That is a beautiful question. I really want to explain this in a way that captures how deeply it has impacted my faith journey. So one of the things I have struggled with in my life is like body image, and dealing with a lot of my relationship with food has been rocky since I was 14 years old. It has really impacted me in a way that like even still to this day, like I'll be completely honest with you, like not all days are sunshines and rainbows. Like I still struggle sometimes. And I, being in a weight class based sport, kind of exacerbated that for a while. That is something that I've had to navigate. But I think that the Lord brought me powerlifting to kind of help me heal from that and show me like you're not just your weight, like we are so much stronger than that. And I am fully confident that God brought me weightlifting and powerlifting, not just powerlifting, but just like the gym in general, has given me so much community, so much outlet. It gave me something to get out of bed for again for a while. When I was having some really, really dark times in my life, like I would wake up and I'd be like, I don't know the reason. Like I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I'm aiming for. Like I don't have any goals that feel like they're important. And when I had powerlifting, like I was surrounded by this incredible community of like, hey, come on, let's go get stronger. Like this is your goal. Like we have a competition that we are aiming for, and something that it matters to you and it's fun and it gives you a reason to set goals and make yourself better and get out of bed. And I think that that's initially what the Lord gave it to me for. He's taught me so much more from that is not just like, obviously that's not my only reason anymore. But powerlifting has directly influenced my faith because it also gave me a platform to talk to other people about what the Lord has done for me. So God gave me this thing to initially help me kind of get the ball rolling of like, hey, we gotta go. Like we need something that we're gonna strive for. We need something that is going to help make us better, and get us out of this place that we've put ourselves in. Like this is what I'm gonna use to kind of leverage you out of that really deep dark hole and give you something to aim for. And once, I had recognized that and the gym had kind of become like something to help me in my mind. And because like I have a very busy mind. And so when my body is moving, my brain is not. I tell people that's the only time that I really get clarity is when I'm moving or working out or running, which I think a lot of people can relate to. But the Lord has given me that as something to to help me. And I think that powerlifting has influenced my faith because it's become a place where I can talk to God. And now it's not just like a place of working out and making my brain quiet, but it's like, I can go, and because I'm moving, like I have clarity to speak to the Lord. And there have been a lot of times where like the Lord has spoken to me while I was lifting, and given me clarity about a lot of things and an opportunity to speak to him to where, my brain is not moving so quickly because my body is, and I can have that genuine conversation with him. And also has given me like family and people who support me. Like if I did not compete in the sports that I compete in or have the struggles that I have had, I would have not connected with all of the people that I've connected with. And I have been so blessed with the powerlifting community and like the people that I'm surrounded with now, like my support system, because of that, because the Lord has given it to me. And I think that my faith has become stronger because there are a lot of days in powerlifting where you wake up and just lifting in general, where you wake up and you're like, I don't have the strength to do this. Like, I don't want to do this. I can't, like, I can't do this alone, Lord. I've got to lean on you. And God has brought me through all of those days. And it's like, if you just get up, if you just get go a little bit further, I will meet you where you're at. And it's like I walk into the gym and then I talk to God and I have a great lift and I walk out a completely different person. And I want to honor the Lord and what he's done with me through lifting, or for me through lifting, through powerlifting, which is why I wear the singlet that I do. And I compete because it puts me on platform and it gives me the opportunity to spread the Lord's glory, and just really has given me a reason to, in a way, to honor him through the movement of the body, because your body is a gift and your body is a temple, and it's that's totally biblical too. And I think a lot of the times we take for granted what we've been blessed with, and how hard we can push, and we don't have to be strong. And that's something that God's taught me, is like Exodus 14:14 is says like the Lord will fight for you, you only need to be still. And that's something that I lean on,
Love
as well
that.
as because like it's like sometimes it's really so hard. It's really so hard, and it's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't fight anymore. And God's like, hold on. He's like, listen, remember that I'm the one that's fighting for you. And Isaiah 41:10, the verse that I wear, is like, I will strengthen you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. It's like, you don't have to do anything, Katie. You just have to show up and I'll fight for you. And you've got all these goals and dreams and ambitions that are too big for you. And that's amazing, because it's not you who's achieving those goals. It's my strength that's going to help you achieve those goals. You can do anything that you put your mind to. And that is something that powerlifting has taught me. And through my faith, is like, I've got all these insane goals that I never would have thought that I would have been able to hit. For, like, I've been dreaming for years and I'm still dreaming, and I've got dreams that are way bigger than me, but that's a good thing, because it's not my strength that's getting me through. And the Lord continuously proves to me that it's his strength that I'm leaning on, and he's going to be the one to pull me through. As long as I put in the work and I show up and I trust God and his plan, nothing can stop him. Nothing can stop him. And so I think that's what powerlifting has shown me about him and his strength, and that he was willing and able to bring me through anything. And also, like, how my faith has kind of been embedded into powerlifting, if that answers that question.
I thought that was great. So I heard a quote the other day. It kind of said like, way too many times in life, we try to do everything on our own and grab everything within reach to achieve our goals, but yet God has things planned for us way ahead that we can't even imagine. And sometimes we need to just let him basically take the wheel. Like he will provide us with what we need.
Right, and I can so recognize how hard that is, because as humans, like, we want control, and we want to know what's going to happen and what the next step is. And the whole principle of faith is believing without seeing. And so, time and time again, when I try and gain control of something, or I'm holding on too tight, like, it's always Katie, you need to let go. Like, this is going to happen, because you're holding on too tight. And every single time, like, the Lord has always provided for me in ways that I never could have seen coming. And it's like, why do I doubt, like because it's human nature, right? And because everybody does at some point, but it's like, why do we doubt as humans when we have all of this evidence when we look back at our lives? Like, this is how I see how your hand is moving. Like, I see what the Lord has provided for me, and I completely agree with you on that statement. Like, it's so hard when it's not tangible and when we want to be in control, but at the end of the day, like, we're not in control, and that's a good thing. Like, Jesus, take the
Yes,
wheel.
yes. So this is also like another personal question, but do you look at your phone a lot while you're lifting?
So it depends. I look at it to change music for sure. I try not to. It's kind of hard because my program and things that I write for myself currently are on my phone. And so I use like spreadsheets, like Google spreadsheets or Excel, to write things down. And every once in a while, like I'll see like a notification, or I'll get the urge to kind of like get on Instagram or scroll when I'm waiting, because powerlifters, we are notorious for like taking naps in between sets, like trying
Yes.
to trying to take all of that time to replenish all of the glycogen and all the things, and so like I try not to. Like, I catch myself like opening an app, and then often I'll go back and I'll close, and I'll be like, no, this is not time for that. Like, this is time to lock in and work. I talk to God in between sets sometimes. Like, I'll say prayers, like, thank you for this movement, thank you for this body. Like, I take it for granted. I really do. I think we all do. Like, our health. Like, and every once in a while I try to remind myself of that. And a lot of times it is when I'm lifting in between sets. Like, I'll hit a set and be like, man, like, thank you, Lord, for the ability to be healthy and to move this body and to just be here today. And so I put my phone on do not disturb sometimes, so I don't get those notifications and look at it in between sets. But the temptation is definitely there, especially as somebody who likes to post on social media a lot, and just be on a platform. Like, it's hard not to have that be all consuming. But I try to make lifting a time for me and God and my music and my emotions, and I look at it more than I'd like to, but I try not to. If that answers your question.
Yes, yes. Because I feel like when I'm lifting, that's something that I do way too often. I get lost in social media when really, like, I will play like worship music or something like hype worship music that you listen to while you're in the gym, but then and like you're having that spiritual moment, and then you open Instagram and you start scrolling.
Yeah.
And that's one reason that I like running, is because I can't look at my phone.
Right. Yes. I didn't even think
So
about
like,
that. That's awesome.
yes, so the worship music, and I'm just in my head. But that's something I wanted to ask you, because I know that you said that you really enjoy that time, and the whole do not disturb thing. That's a good idea.
Yeah, no, it's my me time. Like, it's something that I need to be able to honestly function. And to be able to have clarity for the rest of the day. Like, I work out in the morning. So because I rotate so many sports right now, I am currently rotating 3 sports. I might add a fourth, subtle foreshadowing. I can't say too much yet. I can't. It's a little sneak peek into some things you might be seeing coming soon. But like, because I rotate so many sports right now, I train twice a day. And so I'll go before work and I'll go after work. And like you said, running, you have to turn your phone off, which is amazing. And it makes the biggest difference ever. Because that is something that I believe that I truly need to function like and be my best self. One, because it's an outlet to let out all of these emotions that I kind of wake up with sometimes. And two, like, you need that clarity. You have to have it to have that clarity. And so I it makes a difference in not looking at your phone and using that time to be for you, to set the tone for your day, for one, and two, really like understand where you are and have that connection with the Lord. And if you're sitting there stuck on your phone, like, you're not actually listening and hearing to what the Lord might be telling you during these small moments and these small downtimes. I've had like a lot of like epiphanies and revelations and things that have become apparent to me with clarity that I feel like God has been trying to tell me for a while during lifting, because I am not distracted. Like, I've got one focus, and I'm talking to God in between sets, and I feel like he speaks to me a lot there, and not only like through talking to me, but through other people and the people that he's placed in my life as well. Like there'll be days where I go in, I'm having the worst day ever, and he'll send, one of my friends right up to me, and he's like, "You just look like you needed a hug. Like, here's that. I hope you're having a great day," or like, "You're doing awesome. Like, you look awesome." Like, and so it's just it's things like that that you would miss if you were constantly distracted by technology, and that's something that like I'm actively working on too, because I would like to be present more often.
So right now I'm reading the book, The Elimination of Hurry. So
Yeah,
basically how you ask somebody like, "Oh, how you doing?" They say, "Oh, I'm busy." And it's like, "Okay, like are you happy?" Or and it
yeah.
basically talks about how sometimes we're too busy for God, which it should not be that way.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, I've been thinking so hard about this recently too.
so good book, such a good book. I highly recommend. I know there was another question in here, and then
Yeah,
maybe
for
we
sure.
could wrap it up a little bit with the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah,
I just didn't want to take up
absolutely.
too much of your time today.
You're totally fine. I'm so thankful to be here, so thank you for having me on. Okay, it says, what are ways you have found help discipline you within your faith and powerlifting? Maybe some things that you have changed in your life to better align yourself towards your goals and values. Oh, I love this. Okay, so I believe spiritual discipline and physical discipline go hand in hand. And so I have found a lot of things that honor my body with lifting and help me be the best version of myself with lifting, also honor my body biblically. Like obviously it so like moving your body, taking care of your body is a temple, things like that. Challenging my body. I think that a lot of the discipline that comes with powerlifting and what I have to do to be a successful athlete also helps me to be a successful Christian, because I've got to kind of time manage and put some things as a priority the same way that I need to put the Lord as a priority. And so like the all of the physical disciplines, like carving out all of this time to train, like sometimes like you said, like we're too busy for God, we don't carve out the time for him. Like it's the same principle, the same concept. If I've got enough time to train, I've got enough time to carve out 15 minutes of my day to have quiet time with the Lord. And it's like that's kind of been an eye opener to me, whereas like some days that I forget, or like I don't have time to talk to God, like we're all guilty of it. But I trained for 3-4 hours. Like why couldn't I have put the phone down, have had stopped and just what I was doing for like 5-10 minutes and talk to the Lord. So I think that as disciplined as I am with powerlifting, like I have learned to be that disciplined with my faith as well, because of what it's taken to be an athlete and what I've had to prioritize and give up. And a lot of the things that have helped me become a better athlete, like giving up like alcohol and things like that. Not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing in moderation, like I'm not dissing that in any way, but things that have helped my body, I have noticed, have also been like biblically correct. And I think that I've changed a lot of things in order to prioritize God and bring him into my powerlifting journey. And bringing him into the journey has changed things for me without me having to change them, if that makes sense. Like the Lord has worked in my life in very, very visible ways. And if I would have looked back on who I was a year ago, and I'm not the same person, and that's because God has influenced me without me even noticing it. So the more spiritually disciplined I am, I recognize that the more athletically disciplined that I am, and the more that I can achieve, because I've invited God into my journey. And like I'm growing as a Christian the same way that I'm growing as an athlete, and they're intertwined, if that makes sense.
One of my favorite quotes is, "You don't find time, you make time,"
Yes.
and that's something that I have been looking at as well. The same thing, like people say, "Oh, I'll find time to work out." You're not going to find time in your day. You have to make time. You have to say, "This is
Yeah.
the time that I'm going to do it." Same thing with reading your Bible, or having a time of worship. You got to put it in your calendar, put it in your day. And for me, it's either in the morning or late at night.
Yeah.
You don't find, like people say, "Oh, I'll try and find time for God." know you need to make time for God.
You block it off. Same way that you train. It's like if you've got to get up at 3:30 in the morning, so I do that plenty of times. If you've got to get up at 3:30 and go train and then go to work, like, you can make some time at the end of your day to block off 15 minutes to talk to the Lord. And like it is hard sometimes. Like it is, I can recognize that it is really, really tough to sometimes have a conversation with things that you don't feel like are there or are not tangible. And it's hard, and sometimes you avoid it, but that's is the same way that you avoid doing the hard work when you're in the gym, because you don't see instant gratification, if that makes sense. And I feel like there's a lot of instant gratification in our culture, not only with weightlifting but with God. You think you pray something and you talk to him one time and then it automatically happens. You go hit one lift and you automatically add 20 pounds to your PR. Constantly growing, progressing, listening, carving out time, dedication, doing things again and again and again and again in order to see progress. It's like a faith journey, not a faith day, if that makes sense. So same concept there.
Yes, definitely agree. Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
Um, no, I think I'm just grateful to be here. Like I love the questions and love talking with you. And like I said, sharing my journey and testimony is a blessing. And I hope that, people who need it and who have been in the same place and have faced some real darkness and hard times can understand that like it's gonna be okay. And God's going to put things into your life if you ask him to and you allow him to. Like, I'm not a believer in everything happens for a reason. I don't believe in that. I think that there is some real evil in this world. And I think that a lot of really bad things happen to a lot of really good people, and there's not a reason. But I am a believer in Romans, and how it talks about how God can use everything for the good of his glory, no matter what it is. And the pain that you have been feeling cannot compare to the joy that is coming. Those are both in Romans. And I want people to know that like you can walk through the fire. But I actually wrote this down because I wanted to share this. The verse Isaiah 43:2, how it talks about how, you'll walk through the fire and you won't be burned. And the Lord promises that. And as someone who has been through some real fire and has seen some really dark times, like I can promise you, like God will walk with you and you will walk out that other side. And you might be hurt, you might be afflicted. The Bible promises you that you'll be afflicted, but you will not be crushed. And I think that, the Lord is capable and able to provide things for you to help you not only grow as an athlete, but as a person. And he's got you. And if he's done it for me and he's, continuing to answer my prayers and give me all of these dreams, like if you woke up today, he's not done with you. And he, you have a purpose and you have a plan, and God has a plan for you, and he can use fitness to help reach that plan, but he can also use other things. So just don't, if you're watching this or you're coming back watching this, like just don't give up. Know that he hears you and he loves you, and it might not be instant gratification that things get better, but it will. And if he can do it for me, he can do it for you too. And I am always a resource for anybody.
I think that's awesome, and I really hope I did the whole screen record, and I hope this whole thing recorded.
I hope
Like I said,
so.
you're the first one, because I thought that this was just fantastic, super.
Love
And
it.
yes, the message that you have, and just there's someone out there that needs to hear it, and I believe that God will put it in front of them.
I believe that too. And I so appreciate you taking the time out of your day to have me on today. Like, this was so much fun. It's the first time I've ever done this.
Yes, I agree. I loved it. All right, Katie. Well, I do want to end in prayer, and then you have a wonderful day.
Yes.
So we'll go ahead. We'll pray real quick.
All right, cool.
Dear God, we come to you today. We just thank you so much for all that you do. We just thank you for watching over us and just allowing you to have us glorify you in everything that we do. I just pray that this message reaches somebody and helps change their life, and hopefully they can see you. Even if it's just planting a seed in them, allow us to continue to water it and just have them know you someday. Dear God, we thank you, and we just ask that you continue to bless us and just do everything for you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. That was beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Austin.
Yes, you have a wonderful day. It was nice chatting. I love this.
Yes, we'll do it again sometime.
Yes.